Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Survival Handbook. Today's episode is all about navigating Ark's user interface and how to access and utilize the many menus at your disposal. I'm pretty sure a lot of my viewers are on console because of some of the comments I've gotten, so I'll be running this tutorial with an Xbox controller. Fortunately, most controllers have similar layouts, so I put a controller overlay on screen that should help everyone that's using a controller. PC players, don't feel like I'll be forgetting about you. Through the power of video editing and my voice, we'll make sure you have a solid grasp on what all the buttons do. If you're new here, I'm Terrifier and I make videos about Ark. If you like videos about Ark, consider subscribing so you don't miss more videos about Ark. I want to start by explaining the general layout of your inventory and some quick tips about common problems with the inventory's UI. And since I feel like I did a decent job with this in my first episode of the Survival Handbook, I'm just going to take the clip from that video and put it in here in case anyone missed it. Feel free to skip ahead if you've already seen this. Unfortunately, the UI isn't the best in Ark, so I'm going to give you some super basic tips to help you understand your inventory and other various menus available to you. When you open your inventory, there's kind of a lot of information. You have temperature data and time of day, among other things, at the top of the screen, character stats at the bottom, your character on the right, and inventory on the left. When you're looking at your inventory, there's a crafting button at the top you can click to bring you to all the items you can currently craft. I'm certain most of you have figured this out already, so let's talk about the items at the tippy top of the screen. This button is your inventory and the thing we're used to seeing. Then you have engrams here, which you can navigate to if you have extra points, but no levels to bring you there. Then you have your tribe manager, where you can find a tribe log that details things your tribe has done or things that have been done to your tribe. Then you have TAME groups, where you can assign creatures to specific groups that you can then command via hotkeys or radial wheel whistle commands. And lastly, you have the Explorer Notes, where you can review the information within each Explorer Note if you wish to learn more about each original survivor's backstory. Again, we'll be going more in depth with this topic in a later video, so let's move on. Alright, so I would like to continue talking about your inventory. You'll be accessing your inventory and the menus within more than any other menu in Ark, so I think it's a good thing to talk about. Access your inventory by pressing B or I on PC. Right off the bat, you can press the right bumper to access your crafting menu and press it once more to access your inventory once again. Pretty simple. If you've acquired some levels, simply use the D-pad or the left stick to move your cursor to the stat you want to increase, then press A. Again, pretty simple. This is a common theme throughout the menus, so let's move on to storage chests and other inventories you'll access that aren't your character's inventory. So here we are in this storage chest. We have loads of stone, thatch, wood, and fiber that belong in this chest, but we aren't about to press A on them and slowly move them over one by one to get them all in there. All you have to do is hold A over the item you want to move, and it'll move the entire stack to the chest. You can do this with T if you're on PC. If you want to move just one item from the stack over, double tap A and it'll move just one, or double click for PC. You can split half the stack by pressing Y, and you can split one item from the stack by pressing X. This is probably the biggest help to new players since transferring items happens so often. If you want to take everything from a remote inventory, then tapping the left bumper will move all items from the remote inventory to your character's inventory. You can also press the arrows here if you want to transfer everything in your inventory to the remote inventory and vice versa. You can use the right stick to scroll down an inventory if it's too big to fit in the area provided. Great. We've gotten inventories out of the way, but alas, there's still more to cover when it comes to the UI. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you've heard me mention radial wheel whistle commands, or radial wheels in general. It's important to learn about whistles because they're what you use to control your dinos without having to mount them. So to access the radial whistle wheel, just hold B. There are loads of options available to you, and to access those options, simply use the left stick to highlight the command you wish to use. Then release the B button once you've chosen it. For PC players, this can be done by holding T. To access a submenu, hold the left stick over the menu title and you'll be brought to the next radial wheel. You'll need to know how to use these wheels since many dino settings are accessed in this fashion. For example, the Therizinosaurus has a few adjustable settings about harvesting resources. I have to access submenus to adjust these settings, and it's all done through radial wheels. If you're trying to mate dinos, you'll have to access radial wheels to enable the mating process as well. Okay, so there's one last UI element that I'd like to talk about since it's somewhat hidden and incredibly useful for when you get diseases or other status effects you might not know about. If you hold select, a listing of different elements of your HUD will be revealed, and you'll get some additional information about the world in the top left corner. Additionally, you'll get a giant radial wheel full of different things you can do, like shouting, whispering, and setting TAME groups, to name a few. This is called the Extended HUD. I generally use this when there's some sort of status effect applied to myself or my dinos, like a pack buff, rivalry, swamp fever, or other status effect. There are 181 status effects that can be applied to you or your dinos, so knowing about this extended HUD information will help you greatly on your day-to-day adventures throughout the arc. It can also be used to quickly find the time of day and general temperature information as well, if for some reason you need that in a pinch. Using the whisper and shout options on official servers can be beneficial too if you don't have access to Discord or just want to run around the map screaming "Help!" Your call, gamer. Anyway, if you missed episode 1 and want to check it out, click on the video on the left. YouTube thinks you'll like the video on the right, so, you know, click it or something, I guess. I don't know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so much for your time today. We'll see you in the next video.